What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please follow my Instagram at RussoLifts, just in case something happens to this YouTube channel. You can follow, message, and you can watch my daily story content on Instagram. I'll see you there. What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I am pumping out videos, so please run up the like button. But today I'm going to be going into, a very interesting topic in my mind, which is coming completely off. Is it possible to restart your HPTA after years of abuse, and my thoughts into that? So here comes the plug. I probably will never truly get off. I will probably go to HRT after my competitive fitness, whatever this is over, and we'll just cruise on test. I'll maintain all my super physiological muscle mass on a constant androgen level my whole life and keep my blood work looking as good as it can be on HRT dosages, which HRT is around 150 to 205 milligrams a week, and I think that's going to be perfect for me to personally maintain around 210 pounds looking decent. Going into that, I always get asked, Russo, do you think, with all your abuse, it's possible to, come off completely cold turkey, or not cold turkey essentially, but come off completely and restart your HBTA? And, people always ask me to attempt that and document it. I don't know if it's people who just don't like me and just want to, watch my physique erode away. I don't know about that, but first off, number one, if I'm doing this competitive fitness thing, right, I have muscle mass that's over my natural, limit. So no matter what, when I come off, I'm going to go down to the amount of muscle mass my natural hormones can maintain, and that's if I can even recover them. But this video, I want people to comment their experiences down below if you got off after a long period of time, but this is my 2 cents on it. So when we look into post-cycle therapies are more like a speed bump, like a ramp, right? It's more to ease yourself into coming completely off. It's not going to entirely turn on the connection with your pituitary and the testicles. That is the connection that is lost when you cycle for extended periods of time for high dosages. First you have to wait for all the compounds to clear your system completely, which, certain esters, especially something like DECA, for example, can last up to 6 months in the body and be fucking with your HPTA. So depending on what you've taken, right, you would wait for all that shit to clear, then you would enter a PCT, and then hopefully during the cycle while you're abusing, you are running something like HMG, HCG to keep the lights on for the testicles, aka I talked about this in the previous fertility video, which I'll put up right here. But if you're not utilizing HCG, HMG on cycle and you plan on getting off at some point, you have to use HMG, HCG. Otherwise, you're going to have, massive testicular atrophy, and you're going to have super small nuts that don't even work when you're trying to come off. It's better to keep them stimulated, active, as if the pituitary was still communicating with them while you're abusing these exogenous androgens at extreme dosages. It's always good to add in synthetic LH, synthetic FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, to keep the testicles active, full, normal size. So let's say you've done that. You've been a good boy. You've spent the money on HCG the whole time, and you're looking to get off completely for whatever reason. You just want to put the PEDs behind you, or attempt to. Then you would wait for all the drugs to clear. You would also cut the HMG, HCG out of the equation as they are synthetic, meaning you're exogenously replacing your LH and FSH, and you have hopes and dreams of your pituitary increasing your LH and FSH naturally. So you would wait for all the drugs to clear, then you would go into a PCT, which in my opinion would consist of enclomiphene or clomiphene, and you could throw in something like Nolvadex to offset the estrogen conversion of increasing your natural tests like crazy. So this is the speed bump. This is the ramp, right? This is it's better than going completely cold turkey to zero. So the LH and FSH are going to be endogenously cranked up by the clomiphene. Now, as the PCT runs out, for me, I'd probably, if I was trying to recover it, I'd probably stay on PCT for like over 6 weeks and then slowly taper down, as well as, obviously getting the optimum body fat to make natural testosterone, be, completely stress-free, have my diet on point, obviously be at a better body fat than I currently at to make optimum testosterone, better sleep, fixing all those variables as I'm trying to get off. Now, this is where the true PCT starts. So, like I said, the actual PCT is just a ramp. It's just to help you, slowly ramp down to what is a normal androgen level, because what people don't understand is when you get off testosterone, right, you start having libido issues. This is not due to like the hormones, in my opinion. This is due to your central nervous system adapting to the higher amounts of androgens over the extended period of time. Your central nervous system is used to that. That seems to be, the negotiating, impacting factor when it comes to libido, because, vasodilation and blood flow is not the issue. It's the prolonged androgens. You're desensitized to androgens because you've, downregulated everything. And this is where this PCT period could take up to 6 months to over a year to make a full recovery. And I'm going to read these comments down below, but I think it's funny. I think it's funny when I first started cycling Sarms, they weren't causing massive full shutdowns, and I could get away with 4-week PCTs and walk away. I could have walked away when I was doing all the Sarms only experiments. That's why, I was dipping my feet in to see if it was personally worth the risk to reward, and if I wanted to go down this path farther, and if I had enough of a passion to continue this. And, the way my life played out, and I have a very, I'm very blessed in the way my life played out. And also I have a very crazy ass life to get me to this point. But if I, was just messing around, just wanted to build some muscle, then I would probably have just built a bunch of muscle on one cycle, took a PCT, and walked away, instead of, once I was like cycling constantly, I'm like, this is stupid. I've made videos in the past, which I'll link up below as well, about, blasting and cruising versus cycling, right? It came to a point for me where it's like, well, I should just blast and cruise at this point. There's no point in stressing out my HPTA if I'm going to shut it back down a few weeks later. It's better to just maintain a constant androgen level than yo-yo all my shit and get way more acne when I don't have to. So moving forward, right, if I were to get off, I would do everything like I just said, and it would probably take 6 to possibly 2 years to know if my HPTA would come back. And the whole goal would be to resensitize my androgen receptors to a normal amount of testosterone to restore my libido. And it would be to get optimum sleep, lower my stress, really good diet to produce natural testosterone, so a high intake of really good solid natural fats, such as like, supernatural peanut butter, extra virgin olive oil, constantly hitting 70 grams plus a day of that for fat intake. And then just hoping, and this is the only thing you can do, is hope, is that the connection with the pituitary and the testicles turns back on. Will it happen with everyone? No. Is it possible? Yes. I've had friends who have done DECA, Tren, blah, 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 the whole kitchen sink. They come off cold turkey. They get their testosterone checked. A few months down the line, their testosterone is around 650. That's probably the best you can hope for after abusing androgens, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to maintain like peak like 750 plus. My 2 cents, maybe someone can prove me wrong, but yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen people who have been stuck on, TRT for the rest of their life after one single cycle. It's a very individual per individual basis, but for me to document a full recovery, it would take, 6 months to 2 years, and I want to document it. I think I am going to do it once my fitness shenanigans is over, and I would like to document it to personally see if I could recover my HPTA. My theory is I am not able to, but maybe I will prove myself wrong. But I think a lot of people, you know, they lose hope like after their PCT, their numbers dip back down and they're like, oh, you know, I'm screwed. Like, it's like, no, that's when the real PCT actually starts. That's where you're really trying to get, you know, the brain connection to fire again, your brain to communicate with your testicles, the HPTA to function as it would normally function, right? It's multiple things communicating with each other. It's not just this simple like, oh, it's going to turn back on. Like, no, the connections have to be restored. And then, like I said, you will definitely be suffering from sexual dysfunction if you utilize high amounts of androgens for a long period of time, because you desensitize your own androgen receptors, because, you know, they're constantly being flooded with androgens, and your central nervous system has adapted to the higher androgen intake over the years. So that will need to be reset back to normal. But the point of this video is, like, if you're really trying to recover after years of abuse, like, just know, like, it's going to be over 6 months, possibly 2 years, and it's going to be like a struggle during that time, and you got to make it a priority if you want to attempt to recover and completely walk away. My 2 cents, and here's the plug, is that I will probably stick with HRT, TRT, and my TRT clinic, Elevate. You know, they professionally monitor you. They will just put you on HRT if you do not care about, you know, building muscle. You just want to feel good. You just want to have constant androgens and have your blood work look awesome. That's what they do, right? That's what they do. And you will have a constant androgen level your entire life, even if you do recover your HPTA flawlessly after the abuse. Your testosterone will decrease 10% each year, around 10% after the age of 26. So HRT, something to look into no matter what. I understand there are certain outliers out there that make 500 plus tests, 600 plus tests when they're 50. I get that. Those guys exist. But for most people, including myself, I will probably just cruise on HRT and maintain, you know, my super physiological physique that I couldn't maintain on my natural hormones. But yeah, you know, the point of this video is to see what people have done as far as recovering from, you know, extreme androgen abuse for a long period of time. But it's not like this, like, oh, after my PCT, I'm back in business. Like, my natural testosterone is back. If it's a long period of abuse, if it's a high amount of androgens, you know, you're going to have to resensitize to a normal amount of testosterone. Your central nervous system is going to have to downregulate back to a normal amount of androgens. There's certain things that will take time to possibly communicate back with each other. The HBTA axis, right? Multiple things communicating with each other, and all those connections need to be reestablished because they were dormant for so long. Some people it turns right back on. Other people it turns on in a year or two. Other people it's permanently fucked up for the rest of your life and you have to go on HRT. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind if you decide to go down this path. That is most likely a lifelong commitment, and that it is a choice and decision that you should heavily weigh out the risk to reward for yourself. But my 2 cents, especially when it comes to HRT, TRT, not bodybuilding dosages and all the craziness in bodybuilding, but HRT and TRT, you know, in this day and age, I personally think it's worth the risk if you're professionally monitored, like through my plug Elevate. There's a plug one more time, but that's for you to weigh out for yourself. Obviously, if you have a history of heart disease, then I would not use HRT, TRT. So, but a lot of it's depending on your genetic factors as far as, you know, how much TRT you need to create a certain amount of testosterone in your body via blood work, and how your blood work looks on TRT. I know guys who run TRT and their blood work is flawless. Other people, TRT skews their blood work a little bit too much for my opinion. So definitely a case-to-case individual basis. But at the end of the day, if you want to recover your HBTA after years of androgen abuse, it's going to be over a 6-month-long process to see if your natural testosterone comes back. It's not like right after a PCT, after a long period of abuse, that you're going to know if it bounced back or not. It's going to be a long period of time. So hope you had some insight. Please comment your experiences down below on recovering your HBTA, and I will see you guys in my next video.